here, I'll run through this. I want to start with the public right-of-way. I think everyone knows the site plan and what we're working on, but I want to bring people up to speed on what we're doing in the public right-of-way, because I think that's where people have been impacted the most. I know people are impatient to get the streets back. So let me start with where we are right now. The North Loop Road, as you know, part of the project is widening the roads by about 15 feet and also replacing all of the utility infrastructure that sits beneath the roads. And so we've already accomplished that on the North Road. As you know, it was closed several months ago over the summer. We replaced all the infrastructure below, and we've now repaved it, not with the final paving, but with a wearing course. So, as you know, the bus runs along that road now. So this has been reopened. What we're working on right now, the West Loop, as everyone can see, has been completely dug up. The blacktop surface is gone. All of the utilities, and I'll show you some pictures a little later on, all the utilities, including the water and the sewer and the electrical and the IT and the storm sewer, is all under construction. Sorry. So they're in the process of doing that now, and as you see from the fence line that's on the western side of the of the road, we've pulled out the curbs as well. So the limit of our work is the curbs at the Esplanade, on the street side of the Esplanade. So we replaced the curbs, we replaced the lighting, we replaced the street, and then of course the sidewalk, and there's a 32-foot right-of-way street, followed by a 15-foot public right-of-way, including a 10-foot sidewalk and a 5-foot planting zone. So all of that, starting at the curb line, we're going to be starting once we finish putting in the utilities, and we're somewhere right around here. We started at the north, and we're probably about 2/3 of the way down the site. Obviously, the weather is going to be slowing us down, but our goal is to get around the corner so that we can start to cover the road back up, and then hopefully by the summer have the Western Loop Road back in operation. It wouldn't be final with its striping plan and parking and all of that, but it would be with a wearing course, and there would be much better access than there is now. Right now, the East Loop Road is where we get access for emergency vehicles to the South Point Park and to Fort Freedoms. It's a rough road, it's not paved. We pulled up the paving there too to put in the utilities, and we're probably about halfway down with that. So over the next several months, we're working toward the south end. Ultimately, we're going to do the same with the South Roadway. And as I said, by next summer, the goal is to have the West Loop open and to be finalizing the work on the East Loop Road. So by the time we get to fall of next year, the whole of the network around the site has been completed. New curbs, widened streets, beginnings of the new sidewalks, new plantings, and new trees, and street furniture. The last phase won't happen until the summer of 2017, just before we'd open the campus, when we would implement the striping plan, the parking plan, whatever the parking metering plan that REOP would put into effect, and those final touches around the edges. But so over the next 6 months, you're not going to see a lot of change in terms of public accessibility, but we're hoping that during the summer is when you'll see a major change.
In time for the cherry blossoms?
Cherry blossoms are when?
April 20.
I don't think so. Not this year.
Not this year.
No, I'm afraid not.
When do you anticipate red bus service being restored?
So that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I think that's really a question that we would work with REOP on, because the way we have it now, the red bus is going along the North Road, even though it's not completed. It's just got this wearing course. I don't see a reason that we couldn't do that to South Point Park as well. That would probably be in the fall of 2016, assuming that we're able to keep on schedule. In terms of campus construction, I think most of you have seen these dates before. All the major components of Phase 1 are currently under construction. There's one major component, which is the executive education and the hotel, which I will talk about at the end of this. That's not part of the early Phase 1, but we are actually working on it, and I'll give you an update on that. So, as you know, the demolition is finished. We started the roadways in December, and the 4 buildings that are under construction, the utility building and the Bloomberg Center, both in March, co-location building a month later, residential building a month later. As you know, they're all ongoing, and they're all scheduled to open during the summer of 2017. The Bloomberg Center first finished at the end of April, And what that means is a temporary certificate of occupancy, and we begin the move-in process, which is probably about a 3 to 4 month process, followed by the opening for school for the fall semester in the late summer of 2017. Similarly for the co-location building and the residential building, they're all on track to be open during that summer. So here's an aerial view, a couple of aerial shots. This is not from our camera. This is from somebody took it, I think, off the bridge, or possibly, yeah, it must have been off the bridge, or this could have been a drone. I'm not exactly sure. But this gives you a sense of where we were back in December. The Bloomberg Center, the co-location building, the residential building, and the central utility building. This is a shot taken as of Friday. Oh, sorry. What?
Can we ask questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I thought that we would be able to see through the co-location building to Queens. And when I went over there and looked to see where you'd be able to see through, I couldn't figure it out.
It's the other axis. It's the here, if you go back to the site plan, it's well, this is an old site plan. It's this axis, not this axis,
Right.
because this ultimately there's going to be a building here.
That way, I walked down towards Southwood Park and I tried to look through the direction that I would be able to see through it.
Yeah, you probably saw there's a big crane sitting right in front of it right now. I wish I had, I can email around some pictures. There's some wonderful pictures from this point on the project, looking both ways. We're looking out toward Manhattan and looking back toward Queens. But yeah, that's the angle that you'll be able to see through and have access through. It's not a controlled lobby. It's a public access lobby. So this is a picture as of Friday. Obviously, the site looks a lot different today than it did on Friday. But you can see the Bloomberg Center. We've topped out. It's a 4-story building. This is a mechanical penthouse, and right on top of that is where the solar panels are going to be. So I think as of today, they started putting up the steel that's going to ring the building to hold those solar panels. You can see the co-location building is still all in steel. And the residential building is actually tall enough to be out of the shot of the camera at this point. I think it's, as of now, I think we're framing on the 20th floor right now, out of 26. Oh, right here. This is just a view that you can see from Manhattan from December. This is the view that you were talking about. But this starts to give you a sense of the scale of the Bloomberg Center, that horizontal building, the kind of view. I don't know if people have been on the East Side Drive in Manhattan, looking over to the island. It's very dramatic. It's a very long building. It's one of the longer buildings here. It's about 350 feet long, all exposed facade because nothing blocks it. And the facade panels are going to start to go on in April. They're being fabricated right now on Long Island. They'll be shipped here, starting around March. They'll be barged over to the island. Just a couple of pictures. We had a topping out ceremony for the Bloomberg Center, which is when the highest piece of building steel goes in. That was in November. This is a shot, again, just from an aerial view, standing actually in the residential building, looking over toward the Bloomberg Center. And this is the south end. I like this picture because, you can't really see it that well at the base, but this is where the public cafe is going to be, looking out at the view and out toward the public plaza, which is going to sit just south of it. Interior of the Bloomberg Center, they started to frame out the floors. They started to pour the concrete floors. The first floor is already poured. I think they were supposed to pour the second floor today. It didn't happen, but it'll happen later in the week. Residential building, as I mentioned, we're framing on the 20th floor right now. This is a shot when we were at about the 18th floor.
So what's the residential?
26 stories, so we're almost there. And the co-location building, again, this is the furthest behind right now, and they're still working on the steel. In terms of traffic, we meet with REAC every week, as you may know. We are currently in the period of time that we had projected to be the most intense traffic period for the project, and that's because of the concrete trucks. Right now it's serving the Bloomberg Center and the residential building. Bloomberg Center will be done with concrete in maybe 2 weeks or so. And then in February, the co-location building starts with concrete, but the residential building ends. So we had said fourth quarter of 15 and first quarter of 16 would be the most intense periods. It's going to start to dip down following February of 2016 in terms of the number of trucks, because I think, again, as I said, the concrete trucks are the ones that are really the biggest numbers. In terms of, yeah,
Were there any difficulties with the gas mains being put in on Main Street?
with us, no, there haven't been, we've made an agreement with, so as you know, we brought all the steel in, it's come by barge. We have an agreement on 2 out of the 3 buildings for facade panels to be coming in by barge. And we're actually starting this Saturday, we made an agreement to bring drywall panels by barge. Drywall, it's one of those funny quirks of construction in New York City that I didn't know about. Drywall is apparently, they like to deliver it on Saturdays. And they do it on big tractor trailers. So they came to us and said, well, we have 8 tractor trailers every Saturday for the next 10 weeks. We said, great, the barge is available on Saturday, not a problem. And so they were not thrilled with that, but that's what we're doing. So this Saturday, I think, is the first. Yeah, well, we'll see if it works. Yeah, let's see if it works. So we have the first 8 trucks coming this Saturday, tractor trailers coming to deliver the drywall. Just a view inside. So the central utility plant is the one building that's been enclosed. It's got a roof, it's got walls, it's got all that stuff. So we're working on putting in the electrical service. We have Con Ed, we have 4 transformers in that building. Con Ed's going to be starting in March to actually electrify the site because even though we build it, they own the equipment and they operate the equipment up to the back end of the transformers. So we have to deliver the room to them by March 1st. They spend the next 4 months wiring it up together, and then by next summer we have permanent power on the site. In terms of the roadway, I promised a couple pictures. So this is for the water and the sewer pipes that are going deep down in the street. You can see this is on the western roadway. These are the Jersey barriers, and there's the promenade. And then higher up you have the IT and the electrical. So all of this is being done at once. And that's it for where we are right now. A couple other things I wanted to talk about. One is the Executive Education Center and the hotel. So this is something that we had initially wanted to do as part of phase 1. As I think you know from the conversations we've had in the past, we went out with an RFP for a hotel developer. There wasn't a lot of interest in doing that. So we waited a year and we went out with a second RFP. There was also not a lot of interest in doing it at that time, although they would have done it with a very large subsidy from Cornell, which we were not interested in doing. So, so now we just went out for a third RFP because the market changes. People get more confidence that the project is going to happen. They see the kind of high-profile buildings that we have, the kind of students that we've already attracted, the kind of faculty, and the market is always changing. And so we've actually gotten some interesting responses, and we're working with a few potential developers on the hotel. We've also hired an architecture firm called Snowhead to work on the Executive Education Center. This was reported last week. Last week, was it last Friday, maybe? Was it in the Times? Yeah, so they're a pretty terrific firm. They're based in Norway and New York City. There's 2 partners, one's based in Norway, one's in New York City. They did the pavilion for the 9/11 memorial. I had the opportunity to work with them on that project. They've also done some interesting academic buildings down in North Carolina, at University of North Carolina, as well as a building in Toronto for Ryerson University. So we're very thrilled to be working with them. We think they are at the same level of design excellence that we've set for the site. We hired them to do the design for the Executive Education Center. As I think you know, we have a $50 million grant from Verizon to do that building.
Yeah.
So we've started designing that building with them. We're in very, very early concept design. We're trying to figure out whether it's a building that's just an Executive Education Center or an Executive Education Center with a hotel attached to it. So over the next 2 to 3 months, we'll be working with the developers to make a determination as to whether this is something that we want to do just an Executive Education Center or whether we want to go ahead with the hotel. So more on that as it develops. I would think, I was thinking of it as Jane was talking about a meeting in June. I would think certainly by June we'd have we'd have a decision, but I think we'd like to have one before that. In any case, with the Executive Education Center, which we are dedicated to moving ahead with, that will go through a similar design and public review process as the other buildings did, including the Public Design Commission review, which, as you know, requires a community board meeting and community board review and community review. So, more about that as we develop the timing. But I just want people to be aware that we have hired the design firm. We can't task them with the building yet because we don't exactly know what the building is. We're just doing some programming studies and some engineering studies. But as we get into design and as we figure out exactly what the program is, we'll be coming to you to talk about that. But again, I mean, we could do it here, but it also has to be in the formalized process of the community board as part of the public design commission.